Hi ladies and gents, it's none other than me, Iain Myles here from KamaTV and from Kamalifestyles.com, and you will be pleased to know that I am back with yet another action-packed infield video for you today. So today I'm going to be showing you a piece of infield footage that was actually filmed at the night time, so it's a little bit different to the beachfront clip that I showed you last week. Now in this footage, Emre and myself, we approached two really gorgeous and really bubbly blonde girls, and we actually persuade them to go on a date with us. Now literally it's right there on the spot and not having met them before. So before we get going though, I just want to remind you that we offer an exclusive one-on-one residential training program here at Kamalifestyles. Now in this very program, either myself, Annabelle Rose or Emre, we will literally motivate you and we will physically take you out to the bars and to the clubs as well as to the shopping malls during the daytime. Now we will take you out, and as we motivate you to approach, we'll make you approach really attractive ladies, and we will show you that it's actually really easy when you know what to say and when you know how to structure your interactions. And remember that this isn't a boot camp, as you're not going to be part of, say, a larger group of men. No. This is a bespoke one-on-one training service which is tailored towards your level of confidence and your social ability. It is also a fully confidential course, as we will teach you everything we know about dating and about attracting beautiful women in the 70 plus hours of the program. So if you feel like embarking on this incredible journey with us, then click on the link in the residential training program in the video's description right down below. And you can also click on the card right above and it will take you to that residential page. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about the dynamics of approaching and of interacting with women when you're accompanied with a friend or with a wingman, as it's sometimes known as. Now the discussion that will follow might seem really obvious and it might seem like common sense to you. However, what we find is, when we actually put ourselves out there and when we, put ourselves into these types of interactions with women, all of that common sense, it just breaks down as, our anxieties take over and they have the best of us. And look, it's always easier said than done. So, it's sometimes really helpful to know, what to do beforehand, as, you'll be far better equipped and you'll be much more mentally prepared when you're out and when you're socializing with the opposite sex. Okay, so enough of my rant, and let's see the footage and let's see how Emre and how we got along with the two girls. So stay tuned.
My name is Ray, by the way.
I'm Ian.
Oh, no,
Lovely to meet you. How did you know we were Swedish?
I was a guess. You've got really lovely eyebrows.
Thank you.
Ian, let's go to beach club. It's like, it's rich.
Yeah, like very
Confident kid, like, yeah, she's
no, she's not. She's very shy.
What type of movies do you like?
I watch all horror movies. Yeah. I love my favorite movie was Saw.
I saw, yeah.
I loved Saw for like 1 year, and now I'm afraid of the dark. Like mother. When I was 16, I developed
a phobia.
Yep.
I swear, that's one of my favourite songs. Because the other ones are they're overrated.
I wasn't jealous before we met.
Okay, now I hope you like the infield footage, and I hope it's given you some ideas as to how you can escalate an interaction with a group of girls that you've literally met from the street. So what are the key takeaways from this interaction and what can we learn? Well, you see, one of the first points to take note of is, when you approach a girl for the first time, make sure that your wingman occupies her friend pretty much straight away and as soon as you approach your girl. Now, this is really important. You have to kind of make sure that he's not just standing behind you like a lamppost or like a lost soul, and he's actually contributing to that conversation, because it gives off a far better first impression when your friend sinks in with you, as it shows he's as sociable as you are. Just look back at the footage and see how Emre, how he occupies the other girl whilst I'm engaging with my girl. That is how you're supposed to do it. And if you find that your wingman's not doing it properly, then just be assertive about it and tell him what he's doing wrong. I mean, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to get good advice from you, as look, you're both on that same journey of self-development. And likewise, if the roles are reversed, make sure that you jump in order to occupy the other girl when your friend initiates an interaction. Now, be really selfless about it, because look, the more you help your friend and the more you set that rhetoric that you always be there to help him, the more that he will reciprocate and he will do the same for you. Okay, so also another point here is, remember, if the girl that you're occupying or the girl that you're supposed to be occupying, if she gets bored, then she will pull her friend away. So it really is up to you to help out. However, you also want to be careful, as you both don't want to approach the girls at the exact same time either. I wouldn't recommend doing this, and if you do this, the girls might get pressured and they just might leave. So just relax and wait until your friend has approached the girl, and wait until he's got their attention. And this generally only takes a few seconds only. So once he's established his footing in the interaction, then it's up to you to provide that helping hand. Okay, so be observant and just be aware of what's going on. Now guys, the beginning part of any new interaction is very important, and it can be the make or the break. So really try to put your focus on this and always take action and keep practicing and keep learning from your mistakes until you've just mastered that initial part. Okay, so another important point to take on board when you're socializing with your friend is set yourself certain rules and certain standards to abide by at all times. Now, for instance, a rule that we teach our clients at Kamalifestyles is quite simply, whoever starts the interaction, whoever approaches first, they own the interaction too. So what we mean here is, whoever approaches first, they will have dibs on the girl that they fancy. So it's really up to them to decide and to communicate to you, who they're going for or which girl they fancy. And this avoids a tremendous amount of frustration later on in interaction. Okay, let me give you an example here. I remember many years ago, I had a friend who I used to go out with, he seemed to think that you could just battle your way to winning over that more attractive girl in the group. Now, this was such a bad strategy, and it failed us so many times when we were out, as you both end up losing in this situation. Okay, so like I said before, you really need to establish some kind of common grounds, and you really need to set some rules in terms of, the girls that each of you are going for. And that's, just in order to get the best result when you're out. And even if you don't like the girl that you're, say, occupying for your friend, well, you kind of need to stick it with her regardless. Because the next time it will be your turn, and your friend will win you with maybe a less attractive girl when your girl might be far more attractive. So always think about the long-term benefits here. So right off the bat, focus on your target and never ever switch targets either. I mean, look, don't get me wrong here, because it is okay to talk to your friend's girl on occasion. It's okay. However, don't get carried away and don't forget about what you're supposed to be doing, as it will come across very kind of disingenuous. So don't completely switch over to your friend's girl, because you will lose a lot of credibility and your girl will just get confused and she'll be frustrated, and it's all just going to blow up in your face. Now, I actually had a really interesting experience once when I was at a club. I had just approached a girl that I had really liked, and it was going really well, and we went to the bar to talk as it was a little quieter there. Okay, and as we walked towards the bar, all of a sudden her friend just popped out of nowhere. Okay, she was incredibly attractive, and she just came out of the blue and she launched herself into my face as if she wanted to kiss me there. I didn't know what was going on at the time, and it didn't really make sense, as it was obviously some sort of test, and I felt that it just wasn't a good idea to kiss her back. Okay, so I told her friend, this really gorgeous girl, to just back away, as I didn't want to kiss her, and I wasn't interested, purely because I liked the girl that I was talking to. And then she immediately told me that I was such a nice guy and that I could take her friend home with me, just like that. It was so hilarious. And her friend and I, we then became really good friends, and we all did leave the club together. However, look, I'll tell you the full story some other time, as there's so much more to it. Okay, so the moral of the story here is, don't switch over to your friend's girl, or even to a different girl in the group, as it will ruin your chances, so just don't do it. Okay, so another important point to bear in mind is to know where you're going to sit when you take the girls on what's called an instant date. Now, if, for instance, the two girls sit down first, then have a think about how you're going to position yourself closer to your girl. Okay, don't sit next to your friend's girl, because that will create a barrier and it will force both of you to kind of, switch targets. So really tread carefully and just think about it. It's therefore really useful to know your logistics beforehand and know where you're going to go on the date just beforehand. Then you don't leave things to chance, as you already have a good idea as to where you're going to sit, and it makes things so much easier. Okay, and when it comes to kissing and when it comes to taking that interaction further with your girl, be careful here, as you don't want to make your girl appear sleazy in front of her friend. So leave the kissing, when you're alone together. Now look, this is obviously a generalization, as every group of girls is different, as of course some girls, won't have an issue with you kissing them in front of their friends. However, to be on the safe side, I would do it away from her friends, as kissing her in front of her friends will go against you more often than not. Okay, so think of a way to isolate your girl away from her friend, just for literally a few minutes at least. And a good tip here is to show her something at the bar, like the display of drinks, for instance, because this gives you a really good excuse to walk her away from her friend, and you both have some privacy together. Okay, it's also good for your friend, because he can then try to kiss the girl that he's engaging with. So you can go about this simply by asking her friend if you can borrow your girl for a few minutes. Now I know, look, this is a really cheeky way of doing it, because if her friend says, yes, of course, then the girl that you're with will seldom disagree with her friend's decision. Really cheeky. So you could also just ask the girl that you're with and whisper to her ear that you want to show her something at the bar. Now do this when the conversation's on a high, as you're more likely to have her accept than not. Now guys, what you've just witnessed in the infield footage I showed you earlier on is teamwork at its best. Now you see, when Emre and I, when we're out and when we're about, we sync really well together, and we know exactly what the other's thinking, and when we're interacting with the two girls. Now you see, I could give you a whole host of tips to implement with your wingman. However, you see, the most important tip of them all is teamwork. Now I cannot stress how important this is, and it really is the make or the break between you taking your girl home or you just going alone home. You see guys, the beauty about our residential training program is that when either myself, Annabella Rose, Emre and our team, when we take you out one-on-one, we will basically be your wingman or wingwoman, which will really accelerate your success when you're at the bars and when you're at the clubs. And even when we take you out during the daytime, we will also approach larger groups of girls, and the same applies there too. So not only will it look like we've been besties for a long time, you will also learn from us how to be a wingman. Okay, so you will learn everything that I've already mentioned, but you'll learn it in practical terms. Now just imagine being in Emre's shoes with the two girls from that footage. That is basically what you can expect from the residential training program. So it's a really great program, because when we're at it together, you will feel so much more relaxed, as we will be interacting together, and you will never find yourself alone. In addition to that, you will see firsthand what I say in each and every interaction, as well as how I communicate. And when you see it for yourself with your own eyes, you will begin to believe it. It will become your new reality, and then you will be able to simply replicate it or mimic it for yourself, and you'll be able to get the success that you've always wanted. Now it really is that simple, and that is how so many of our clients have become successful who sign up to our training programs. Now guys and girls, this is sadly all I have for you today. We have come to the end of yet another video, sad times. However, I hope you found the insights in this video useful, and I hope it's given you a better idea of the kind of key things that you need to implement when you're out with your mate or, you know, with your wingman. So remember, the essence of a good wingman is someone who is a team player, someone who is selfless, and someone who's always on the lookout to help his buddy. Because as a mate, you're always willing to help your friend get a nice girl, despite of, you know, what is in front of you. And even if your friend's girl gives you a keen look, never let that sway you from helping your friend. And you will see, purely by having this sort of kind of selfless mentality, you will see how it will pay you back in dividends at some point in the future. So be wise and make the right moves. Also guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to KamaTV. Now today you were joined by Iain Myles, and I will see you next time.